was extremely introverted. Even through high school, I was pretty introverted. I didn't have a lot of friends, and a few. Out of all our siblings, I was probably the most curious one that asked a lot of questions. And I always had a need for things, on learning how things worked. Part of the reason I think I majored in mechanical engineering, right? The desire to kind of see how things work. As a youngster, when we immigrated this country, one of the first things we did was bought a small coin-operated laundromat. And, we had never even seen a washing machine in our life. But, when they broke down, we had to fix it. And by the time I was about 12, 13, I could literally take a washing machine, strip it to the last bolt, and rebuild it in a day. But a lot of that was just because a lot of curiosity of how things worked and learning how to do it. So, yeah, I think that's kind of important. I think that's an important ingredient in any STEM, education. I remember sitting in a class, and there was a gentleman sitting next to me. I still remember his name, Jay Coulter. I can't tell you why I remember his name. But he had a Lawrence Tech catalog, and he was considering going there, and he shared it with me, and I was like, I never heard of Lawrence. And I'm like, okay, this looks interesting. And, it kind of got my curiosity going. Needed to work in the family business. I needed a school that I could commute to. And so Lawrence really kind of gave me that, right? He gave me a really good school in a great discipline, local, so I could work and help my family and go to school at the same time. That's where my transformation really happened, through my junior and senior year, right? And really what happened was I got an opportunity to work in a lab at the school where I interacted with people. I was very good at what I did, so it had a lot of confidence in what I was doing. And it helped my career, right? It helped me sort of kind of break out of my shell. One was, in thermodynamics, that was Dr. Lundstrom. And for him, I think it was really about, he was a sort of a very straightforward, highly disciplined, very knowledgeable professor, right? And when he went to his class, everything was precision. He did he did a great job of really teaching you the subject matter. The conversation was engaging, and he was tough, And kind of in his class, if you didn't have discipline, you didn't study, you couldn't get anywhere, right? He was kind of the model. The other one was Dr. Lucy King, and she was building out the new sort of CAD, CAE capabilities of the time. And, I spent a lot of time with her in various classes, working in the lab. And so she was very influential in sort of, in kind of my sort of interests and kind of where to take my career, right? And she was also a guide in terms of like, what the next job looks like for you. And I actually just saw her last year for the first time after, 20 years or 30 years. And it was like, it's like being there yesterday. And she gave me opportunities. Like, she's the one who gave me the opportunity to come and, teach at night as an adjunct faculty at the school, which was really helpful for me, right? In terms of, again, my ability to sort of grow. It's constant learning. Like what I do today versus 5, 10, 15 years ago is so different, right? And because there's so much advancement that's happened in information technology and how it's enabled companies to do so much better, right? In terms of efficiency, production, etc. Mining sounds like a kind of a simple business, but it's actually very, very complicated. There's a lot of technology that's utilized from basically drilling and blowing up rocks to processing it, right? So my role has there's not a step in that process that doesn't rely on technologies that my teams provide, right? So my role to get an opportunity to really impact the business's ability to execute efficiently. I did my MBA after working for about 5-6 years, which I think is the best thing I ever did, by the way, because I got a lot more out of the education. And I think that's the other thing that kind of helped propel my career a bit, right? But I think, but Lawrence to me kind of gave me all the foundation that was required to kind of build upon. Like a lot of things, I got some breaks in life. A lot of them I feel like I made through hard work, and I've actually had a very rewarding and satisfying career. The technology is moving at such a pace, right, that I think our biggest challenge to that pace moving is having a future workforce that's more and more capable, right? And I think ultimately the universities are going to have to provide that, whether it be Lawrence or all the others, right? And a lot of them are going to come from STEM programs, by the way. And I think in the next 5 years, I think we'll be amazed, right? It kind of hit an inflection point where it's really taking off. You hear the term data science, like in our business, that was a foreign term. And now we have a whole practice within the last 3 years, right? We had to build out a practice to be competitive. And it's very challenging because one of the biggest challenges you have is finding competency for that kind of work. To me, one of the most important things you get in a college education is to, honestly, besides giving you foundational skills and knowledge, it teaches you how to learn. You have to be constantly, as you go through your life, you have to constantly learn, right? So I think the first thing it teaches you. And the other thing it teaches you that I think is really important in work life is just the ability to work with other people, right? And I don't know what Lawrence does now, but when I was there, you had a senior project, and it was all about working with people and kind of really working through differences and, kind of coming up with a solution together, right? Find something you enjoy doing, right? Because you have to do it for the rest of your life, and do it really, really well, and be committed to it. I think that to me, it's kind of simple, right? I mean, it sounds simple, but it's hard to find what you like doing. And then once you get it, you got to stay committed to it.